Danhausen here, very nice, very evil, very famous. You are watching the channel that is very nice and very evil. The Nation Network. Isn't that good? Yes, it's true. If you're not watching the Nation Network housing, you are. Wait for it. Wait for it. Cursed.
And the news has come out that Chris Jericho has returned home. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Dr. Wagner Jr. and almost the man who I've always said is almost a wrestler.
What could he have possibly done for the WWE? This is taking one of your top talents. This is the future of your women's division, and you almost ended it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back, everybody, once again. Nation Network, Vince McMahon with you here, and it is time to chat. I said I wasn't going to cover night two, and I didn't. But I ended up watching it after all because I really had nothing else better to do. And I got to tell you, just a lot surprised. For me, night two overperformed because on paper, that never should have not sucked. And not everything about it was great. But a lot of it was better than I ever anticipated it would be. And I enjoyed night two a whole lot more than night one, with the exception of Nick Aldis. Let's get into it a little bit here with the rundown. I mean, if you're going to start off a PLE, pay-per-view, call it what you will, if you're going to start off a major show with a bang and get the crowd going, not much of a better way you can do it than the way they ended up doing it. Now, you've been marketing this number one contenders match for the longest damn time, and it looked like finally Finn Balor maybe getting some respect back and getting a chance to go after the title that he hasn't held in how many years now. And, the fact that he never had a chance to have a run with the belt, he got injured immediately after winning the title. It looked like maybe they're finally going to do something to rectify that. And then they didn't. Aldis comes out there and says it's a triple threat match. And, of course, it is. And then he brings out Gunther. A lot of people had a problem with that. Why would Nick Aldis do that after brawling with him the night before? That's exactly why he would do that. Because he earned his respect. It's probably a bit of a mutual thing. And the fact is, he has won a lot of matches. He beat me yesterday. He's worthy of being in the title picture. We're going to let him compete in this match. Oh, and by the way, there's somebody else that would also like to perform in this match here tonight.
Oh, what?
Kevin Owens. The music hits, the crowd goes nuts. That's how you kick off a show. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw a triple threat. Nobody saw a fatal four-way. That is what I'm talking about. Pay-per-views used to have a lot of surprises on them, and I prefer it that way. Because honestly, the match they had booked would not have lived up to it. No matter how good the guys performed, it just wouldn't have been the same. I was a little surprised. I didn't think Kevin was going to go over. I thought him and Sammy would end up in a brawl and lose sight of the other two, and then one of them was going to go over, and I thought Finn was still going to get the opportunity. Nope. That's not the way that worked out. So, good for Kev. I mean, hearing his story and about all the stuff that he's been going through during this injury time, and I had no idea it was that bad. But yeah, I mean, it's almost career ending. So good for him. And he definitely earned it just as much as anybody. But in the big picture of things, it still creates the same problem that they've had in the WWE for a while now, and that is that everyone in the main event is over 40 years old. They just got to get, I don't know what it is. And we'll talk more about stuff as we go on here, but all right, so that's the opening match. I'm not going to go, hold for hold and stuff like that on these things. I didn't take notes on it. I was just watching. I wasn't even planning on watching it. But I'm glad I did. Like I said, turned out to be pretty good. Pretty good night, too. So you had Finn Balor in there. You had Royce Keys. I got to tell you, I think he's already done. The fans are not into this dude at all. The Royce Keys name was a horrible idea, whoever came up with that idea. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. And I'm talking about Royce Keys from something different, so ignore that. Nothing to do with the match. Sami Zayn and Gunther, yeah. So it was a good match for a Fatal 4-Way. I'm never a big fan of multi-man matches when titles are involved, and even though the title wasn't directly involved, the number one contendership was. I kind of like that to be a one-on-one thing, but it's all right. Bleacher Report gave it an A. I don't think I'd be that generous. I would give it a B. But I probably am not going to give it an A. And I do enjoy seeing Sammy looking pissed at the world because I'm almost wondering if it's not legit. All right, so off and running, and I'm enjoying the way the show starts. And then we come up to the United States Championship match, which I think everybody knew Trick Williams was going to retain the title. Until he didn't. I was like, yeah, I the last time I jumped out of my chair like that was the night that Trump won the first election and they announced Florida going to Donald Trump. That was the last time I jumped out of my chair watching something. I did not think there was a chance in hell. I thought they'd bring him in. They're just going to run it like they're doing with Matt Cardona. It's still Long Island IC at the end of the day, man. He's still just being jobbed out, which I hate. But they don't have any other visions for these guys. They just look at them as what they are, in their opinion, is mid-card guys. So I thought for sure they were going to start jobbing them out. And they didn't. Thank God for small favors, booking them strong. And the word out there right now, and I'd have to probably watch the match back again, but the word out there right now is that Baron carried the match, and Trick is not being looked upon real well backstage as maybe not ready. I've always looked at Trick Williams as someone who will probably a year or two from now, I'll probably be digging him then. I don't care for him right now. I just, the whole lemon pepper stepper thing, it was cute the first time he said it, but it's not something I want to hear forever. It's already grown on. It's not like, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? That was iconic. You could do that over and over again. Austin 3:16. You can do that over and over again. What you gonna do, brother? You can do that over and over again. But the lemon pepper stepper thing, oh yeah. Decent match overall, and just the fact that when Baron hit him with the end of days, he protects that finisher. Now, if he's going to lose the match, he's going to lose the match, but not going to hit that move in the middle of the ring and have somebody kick out of it. That's not happening. So when he hit it, I was like, oh my God, they're going to give him the belt. And the main reason I wanted him to win is because I hate when they fuck belts up. I hated it when they made the heavyweight title a spinner belt. And I hated it when it became a rated R belt. And I sure as hell hate this U.S. Championship with fur on it. And the greatest thing is backstage afterwards, there was a quick interview with Baron. I think it was maybe during the post-show. I'm not sure. But he was being asked. I think Kathy Kelly got him in the aisle or the back alleyway there. And, that belt was just made recently and cost a lot of money. That's too bad. I can tell you right now, all this fur and crap is coming off, and we're going to restore the dignity to the belt. And I'm over here clapping. I am absolutely clapping for that. I just don't know why the WWE allows stuff like that to happen. It's not going to sell you more belts. It's not. I cannot believe that fans are out there going, I got to have a furry belt. I just don't think so. All right, moving along. We have to crown the interim WWE Women's Champion. Why? Since when? And Rhea's clearly out for a bit of time. So there's never been an interim champion before. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. And in my book, whoever wins the match is the women's champion, period. And I want my girl Chelsea to win so bad, but I know she's not going to win. But then she does. And now for the second time, I'm jumping out of my chair and wondering to myself, what in the blue hell has happened? Who got a hold of the pen? Who's calling the shots right now? Because it can't be the same lame-ass team that's been writing and booking for the last 2 years. Something has happened. Now, could it be the fact that they barely sold 50% of the stadium 2 nights in a row? And they figure we better start giving these fans what they want? Maybe. And good if it is. I love the fact, let me tell you something. 2 things. I love the fact that they never announced the attendance. Because they're embarrassed, and they should be embarrassed. And they're still trying to play it off right now when being asked if we need to do 2 nights events all the time anymore. And they're like, oh, yeah, because we sold out the fan experiences. And it's about the fans. The hell, it's been about the fans. Why? You keep telling us we're not watching the program properly, or we need to just shut up and sit down and watch it and enjoy it for what it is. You don't give a fuck about the fans. You just don't want the egg on your face of saying we used to be able to do this and we can't do it anymore. Sounds like a personal problem to me. That all said, seeing that arena half full just, oh my God, it makes me feel good. But that arena that was there, and you know who had the hardest job of the night? Not anyone that was competing in the ring. The director who's sitting out in the truck in the back, who has to say, go camera 1, get ready camera 2, ready, camera 2, go camera 3. Go. He's got the worst job because he has to find a way to cut cameras and not show half the arena's empty. By the way, 2K, you're going to put that in the game next year? Half an empty arena? So we could have, when you do the WrestleMania 43 thing or SummerSlam, whichever one, can you show the half-empty arena so it's accurate? There was a moment in the match where I thought Chelsea was going to win it, and then she falls down the ladder, and then she gets caught in the trio woe ladder hole there where her legs are dangling through, and she's laying back, and she stays there for quite a little while, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, she's going to fucking win this thing. I could see it already. She's just going to sit up, grab those things. She's going to Undertaker her way back up to the top. And damned if that's not exactly what happened. And I've never been so happy to easily predict an outcome of a match before. But, man, when that happened, I was just up and cheering. That girl is a national treasure in her own right. That what she has done to the U.S. title, the women's U.S. title alone, she made that title relevant. And then they put it on Julia, who did nothing with it. And they put it on that little flea, who also did nothing with it. But Chelsea made that thing relevant with the secret Hervis and the whole 9 yards. I mean, she just, I don't know what to say. Her work has been next level, and if anyone deserves it, she does. And I'm so happy she got her just desserts here, winning the title. Of course, as she says in the post wrap-up, if it's me, you know something's got to go wrong. And she had 9 of her best friends that were supposed to come from Canada down to watch, if you haven't heard the story. And Canada had a major airline strike that night, or the night before, I guess, and they were not able to fly in for that. So at least her parents were there, and obviously her husband was there. And a lot of fans were there to support her as well. They gave the ladder match a B. I'd give it a B just for the ending alone. Just for the ending alone. It was really, really good. All right, well, things are going pretty smoothly so far, so why don't we just have something stupid like human money's on a bag on a pole match? I guess Vince Russo snuck in the back door somewhere. I don't know what happened there. All I'm going to say, and I didn't know at the time, but one of the Mini-Housens is Brad Williams. If you don't know who Brad Williams is, he is a very short comedian and a really funny motherfucker. If you've never seen Brad Williams stand-up act, you need to. And it's on YouTube, free of charge. He tells a story, true story, about John Stamos. And he was actually, Brad Williams, very good friends with Coulier, the other comedian who was, what do you have? Jesse and Joey, right? So he was Joey on the TV show. Anyway, they were both doing stand-up at the same building one night. I'm not going to tell it. His story, the way he tells it, is so much better than any justice I could possibly try to give to it. But I was crying laughing on this freaking story he's telling. All I'm going to say is Dom loses to Danhausen, and the internet's losing its mind, and I don't know what people are thinking about how, Dom is done, they're jobbing him out, and blah, blah, blah. He's supposed to be a champion, and now he's losing to Danhausen. He didn't lose to Danhausen. Danhausen climbed up a turnbuckle and pulled a bag down. He didn't pin him. He didn't make him submit. Dom doesn't lose any. As a matter of fact, he didn't even get to do that until he set fireworks off in the face of the guy, okay? So to turn around and make it seem like Dom's on the downward this and that, and there are a lot of rumors right now going on around saying Dom is in a bad situation backstage, that for whatever reason, he had posted something on Twitter, well, I think it was Twitter. Could have been TikTok. I'm not sure. Basically saying that it wasn't him. It was somebody else in a meme saying, NFL guy, I think it was, I'm only here so I don't get fined. And he posted it on his, meaning that, he's only here so he doesn't get fined. Is that legit? I don't know. I mean, did he post it? Yes, but it could be that he's trying to set something up. I mean, think about it. Chelsea, not that long ago, was in a similar scenario. So I just don't imagine. I mean, Dom's one of the homegrown talents, and he's very good at what he does. I know he's got a lot of haters out there. I'll never understand the logic. Anyone who thinks he's not good, you're wrong. He's very good. They gave it a C+. I don't know how you rate a bag on a pole match, right? So I'm not going to even bother trying to equate that to anything. Moving along, Intercontinental Championship, Penta going up against Chad Gable. We knew this was going to be a great wrestling match. It was a great wrestling match. Very, very good match. Not a big surprise on who won. Chad's in Minnesota, and he's coming off that big program for the Mask versus Mask, which was phenomenal. And they've really done very little with him coming off of that, which is disappointing because he doesn't have a big window left. If he's going to have a major run with a belt or something like that, now has to be the time. But you also have to book him properly, and it's just not happening. They're just not doing it in the United States the way they do it in Mexico with him. Great wrestler. And I was shocked when he wins this match to find out that's the first time he's ever held a singles title in the WWE. That's insane. Absolutely insane. They better let him hold that belt for a while and have some really big matches with it. He deserves that. So we've got a lot of people getting wins that deserve wins. We got Baron Corbin, we got Kevin Owens, we got Chelsea Green, and now we got Chad Gable. It's a good night. It's a feel-good night. The people that you've been rooting for, that have been getting shit on for all this time, finally starting to get some recognition. And maybe finally listening to what the fans want. There's a novel idea. And that brings us to our heavyweight championship main event matchup between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. I've heard people say, and I think it was Michael Cole, when the match was over, he said, put it in the Louvre. He's talking about the French art facility, the Louvre. And I thought he meant the loo as in the toilet, because I'm not going to say it was that bad, but it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It was way, way too long. When I tell you that match was way too long, I mean its ass was way too long. They had almost a whole freaking hour to work with, and that's including intros. And intros alone, I think, was like 16 minutes clocked in at. No. No. And then the match was so many false finishes. I mean, you do one, you do two. They must have done 22. And all your finishers are not finishers anymore, so those are all worthless. The only thing I'll say positive about it is they didn't have anyone run in. And I don't watch AEW's product at all, so I wasn't sure if Moxley is still with them or if he's still under contract with them. And when the ref went down, I was like, oh, man, if Moxley comes out, and I'm not a fan, but for this moment I would be. Because I see him coming out of the stands, and he's going to lay out Seth Rollins for the whole chair incident because he hasn't had a chance to get even with him for the chair. And, yeah, that didn't happen. So, turns out I guess he is still under contract with AEW. Wishful thinking on my part. But nobody came out. And good. You drew a lot of people's attention towards the entrance, though, because they all thought somebody was coming out. But that was, the fact that nobody got involved in it, and it was a straight-up match. Then the match is over, and I see Roman kind of looking down at Seth, and he puts his fist down. I thought he wanted Seth to come and raise his hand, and I thought Seth was going to do it in a show of, you got me. Yeah, you're the man. And it wasn't that. It was to do the shield fist bump thing. But the problem is, that's a 3-man maneuver, and you only had 2. And it looked bad. Bad optics. You'd have been better off having him raise your hand. For me, the match was just drawn out way too long, and you lost me. Nothing they did was necessarily bad. I mean, the moves and all that kind of stuff was there. So many false finishes. Just way, way, way too many. And it's unfortunate because the night started with such a big pop and everyone's excited, and then Chelsea wins, and then Chad wins, and, we got some stuff happening here. And then just, I don't know. That's my take on it. I've seen a lot of people crapped all over Night 2 completely. James Romero did not like it at all. Whereas I liked almost everything about it. And I thought, like, when they announced the main event, now I kind of know why. When they said, up next, our main event, I'm like, already? Because I was having actually a good time with this. And then I realized, well, yeah, it's because there's only 2 hours gone so far. You still have a whole other hour left just for this match. But I wasn't watching the clock at that time, which is a good sign. When I'm watching the clock, it's because it sucks. So, that's my take on it. And then the other big news that came out earlier, it was announced, I guess, on ESPN, but it was also announced on the McAfee show, which is, I guess, technically ESPN as well. And that is that Brock Lesnar is officially retired. It's sad to me that it wasn't a stipulation of the match. I feel like that would have been better. And I don't know why they didn't do that. And he didn't even, he took the mic. I thought he was going to say something about it. Didn't do it there either. Which, to his credit, he made it about Oba. And apparently, that was all off script. He wasn't supposed to grab a microphone and say all that shit. But good on him. Say what you will about Brock Lesnar. He's always done business. He's not one of those guys, brother. He makes other guys look good when he needs to. And he understands that they made him look like a monster when they needed to. And I just love the fact that, he's doing what he's doing. And right now, he's a happy guy. The best quote of the Pat McAfee interview was when he turned around and said, I just want to enjoy my life now. You know, I want to reap the rewards. He's sacrificed so much of his body between the UFC and pro wrestling. And now, you know, this guy loves to go hunting and fishing and all that outdoor stuff. And he's got his farm, and that's him in his happy place. He's got his kids. I think he's got 2 sons playing hockey, and the daughter is looking at the Olympics possibly for wrestling, which I've seen her, and she looks like a clone of him, which, you know, not great if you're a girl, but you know, if you're a wrestler, it probably ain't a bad thing to do. So we'll see. But I honestly, you know, you see a lot of times where guys or girls say, I'm retired, and then 2 years later they get the itch and they come back and one more match or even a short stint, things like that. I highly doubt you'll ever see Brock Lesnar. He might show up at, like, you know, 40-year anniversary of Monday Night Raw or something like that. He might just show up to come out and maybe just drop somebody with an F5. But I do not imagine he is going to actually get into the ring and have one more match at any point in time. I would be shocked. I've never seen a guy so content and perfectly satisfied with the way his wrestling career is over and the fact that he didn't need the fanfare, even though he deserves it. More power to you, buddy. More power to you. If anyone has earned the right, Brock Lesnar is the man. The beast incarnate, if you will. All righty then. Sean's in the house. I appreciate it, buddy, but it ain't coming back. And just like Brock Lesnar's not coming back, the Saturday morning shows aren't coming back. You got the TNA stuff that's going down. Actually, the next 2 weeks is going to be all new stuff that's never been seen before, because now I had the ability to actually put a couple of things together that I always wish I could have done back in the first season ever of the channel. But back then you couldn't make custom arenas. You couldn't make custom belts. So everything pretty much had to revolve around the WWE's events, and I could never really do a TNA show. So now that I have that ability, the next couple of weeks are going to feature all new content, still in that storyline, but just to try and flesh it out a little bit more. And it's going to be the exact same way, just a bunch of highlight clips with music playing behind it. Only this time it's copyright-free music, so I don't have to worry. And when that's all done, which is, I got a bunch of episodes. I forget how many altogether there are, but it's a lot. But once that's done, then, you know, we'll have the chats, and that's about it. Like Brock Lesnar, I am perfectly fine with it being over. I don't miss it. You know, I don't mind going back and watching some of it here and there. Somebody recently commented on one of the old streams from like 2K16 or something like that, and mentioned, oh my God, this is the best match in 2K history. And I was like, really? Right, let me go back to it. And I'm watching it again for the first time in years. I had forgotten about the match altogether. It was Slaughter against Nikita Koloff. And it was a pretty damn good 2K match. A lot of false finishes. Every time Nikita went for the Russian sickle, Slaughter countered it with a power slam like 3 or 4 times, and Nikita just couldn't hit him with the sickle. It was good stuff. Good stuff. All right, well, again, if you ever want to catch these things live, you're going to have the bell notification on, because that's the only way you'll know, because even I don't know. That's the way it works. It's just like, I wasn't going to do this yesterday. I wasn't going to do it today. But then Lesnar announced his retirement, and I said, well, we'll throw it all together, because I was one of the rare people that actually enjoyed, for some reason, Night 2. It seems like nobody else did, but I did. As for everybody out there, take it easy, stay safe, and remember...
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye!
And the news has come out that Chris Jericho has returned home.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Dr. Wagner Jr. and almost the man who I've always said is almost a wrestler.
What could he have possibly done for the WWE. This is taking one of your top talents. This is the future of your women's division, and you almost ended it.